march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Several months back, I started taking your Nason iodine and your Super Meal. Prior to this, I was barely walking. Now I'm able to function as a human again.
InfoWarsLife.com. You've heard the callers to the show.
Your products are great. I use DNA Force. I use X2, Super Male Vitality, and Lung Cleanse. Every day, they're great stuff.
Whether it's Survival Shield, Nason Iodine, or DNA Force, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality, Lung Cleanse, Fluoride Shield, Oxy Powder, I believe that all of these products will blow you away like they've done the thousands of other customers that have visited InfoWarsLife.com.
Dash 2. Just amazing what it's able to do to actually detox the body. It's great stuff.
Check out InfoWarsLife.com today and the entire line of groundbreaking, cutting-edge, hardcore products.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, I had thought Bill Ayers was with us till the end of the hour. He's got to go at 50 after now, or maybe he always did. We'll have time to take a few phone calls at 800-259-9231. I'd like to hear from some Bill Ayers supporters. We don't screen your calls, just your name and where you're calling from and how you're listening. You support this guy, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you've got a serious question and don't support him, it's wide open, 800-259-9231. Look, I don't want to waste our time here with a he said, she said. I go to your website, BillAyers.org, and there's a red star on a black background up there. It looks pretty Maoist to me. You say you didn't like Mao. Was Larry Grathwold wrong that you guys followed a Maoist cultural revolution style system at the Weatherman?
Yeah, he was wrong and he was lying. But the red star on the black background is also the signet for Heineken beer and Macy's. So be careful what you worry about. But here's the thing.
Oh, come on, man. You're a famous commie. Just admit it. You love Lenin.
First of all, I'm not famous. Secondly, I don't know what you meant when you said Bill Ayers supporters call in. We haven't had one substantive exchange, you and me. So I don't know what one would think to be a supporter. You mean if somebody has read one of my books and has something to say about it? We haven't talked about anything substantive.
Okay, well, you're setting and defining things like MSNBC saying, parents, your kids don't belong to you. Let me ask you this question. Do you support abortion?
Wait, when did I say that? When did I say parents don't belong to their kids?
I said MSNBC said that.
No, they did not. What are you talking about?
They said we need to break through this view that, you know, kids belong to their parents and that they actually belong to the wider community.
I've not, you know, I'm so bewildered about what you're talking about. Let's talk about the question of whether kids belong to their parents. If a kid is being, let's just talk about that. In general, I think, yes, indeed. Children and their parents and their families are sacred, sacrosanct, absolutely. But if a parent is raping the child, the community has an interest in stopping that. Do you agree with that?
Yes, so you agree with Melissa Harris Perry?
I'm not sure.
Or you disagree with her?
Wait a minute, about what?
Well, that's her statement about the kids. The point is, we know all communist systems try to take over the kids.
Free question. If a parent is raping a child, does the community have an interest in
the local community, but not the central communitarian?
Okay, that's fine. I'm with you. The local community has an interest. But so, I mean, I'm not sure what the big distinction is, but you and I then agree. The child and the parent and the family is sacrosanct unless something horrendous is
unless we need
a
what do you think about Obama wanting a domestic security force just as big and just as strong as our military and having youth brigades chanting his name?
I didn't know he was doing that, but I'm opposed to all domestic security forces. I'm opposed to the U.S. military. I'm opposed to the massive militaristic nature of the society, including surveillance, mass incarceration, the militarization of the police, all of that I'm opposed to.
What do you think, Bill Ayers, of our government with NATO, or maybe you disagree, arming al-Qaeda, renaming them ISIS to turn them loose on Syria and murder hundreds of thousands?
You know, I've always been opposed to the U.S. arming al-Qaeda, which they did in their fight against the Soviet Union. The al-Qaeda is a creation of the United States.
Yes.
And now they've created ISIS, and all these invasions, including the Bush-Cheney invasion of Iraq, have been mindless and stupid, and they've caused nothing but grief in the world and in the United States.
Well, I'll say this. We have a big video out today that's going viral where we expose American Sniper as a giant hoax. So just so you know where I'm coming from, I attack everything I see as baloney. So I agree, there's right-wing tyranny, there's left-wing tyranny.
I attack everything I see as baloney as well. And right now I'm feeling like you're the biggest baloney here. I don't understand. Do I support Melissa Harris Perry? What is that? I didn't even know what you're talking about.
Well, that's like the mouth of Sauron, MSNBC. You're like a real celebrity over there, and so that's the kind of stuff they're saying.
You're absolutely mistaken. I am not a celebrity anywhere, but certainly not on MSNBC.
That is pure bull. You are almost like a Christ-like figure in the circles of hardcore commies.
Show me some evidence of that, Alex. That's so fascinating. I feel like I'm just sitting here in my home trying to write something this morning. I'm suddenly having a conversation with you, and you're bringing up these gigantic categoricals. I have no idea what you're referring to.
Sure, let me just play Melissa Harris Perry for you in a promo they still air. They've been airing this for 3 years. Here it is.
So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
So do you agree with that or disagree with the lean forward Marxist-Leninist statement?
I only got a little piece of that because I was talking, but I'll once again give you the example and you tell me if you agree.
No, we've already been over that. Let me ask you this key question. Are you aware that IBM and the eugenicist movement funded much of the modern left, and Margaret Sanger, who got awards from Hitler, gave awards from Hitler, and the whole Great Society was a plan to take over black communities and exterminate them because they're, quote, weeds?
Well, I know that the eugenicist movement and Margaret Sanger and Hitler and a large part of the American society were eugenicists, and academics were eugenicists, and I think it's all part of a very heinous part of the human history and the human condition.
Well, I agree with you, and from our research, the left represents the core vestigial movement, and at its base, it's eugenical. Maybe you never got that high in the power structure, but that's what it is.
I had no idea, but this is news to me. I have no idea what you're referring to. I don't know that the left, I mean, to me, the Hitler and the right-wing notion of racial superiority and white supremacist has never been, a core value of the left. So again, I don't accept your premise. I don't know what you're referring to.
The reason some of what I say to you, you know about and makes sense, and other stuff you say sounds like total baloney is because I am outside the box, and I'm trying to transcend all these labels. Hitler called himself a National Socialist, but I would agree with you that he had right-wing aspects, but only within the left-right paradigm. As Carroll Quigley wrote, have you read Tragedy and Hope by Carroll Quigley?
No, I have not.
That's Bill Clinton's top mentor in his words.
I have no idea.
He wrote an unofficial secret history for the State Department so their section chiefs could understand why they were funding fascists and communists and totalitarians, and he admits in the 1,100-page book how the whole game works. I mean, clearly, big corporations try to control the left and right?
I don't know much about Bill Clinton, but I've never been a supporter of Bill Clinton. And so, again, you're trying to make some connection that I'm not following. I haven't read the book. I don't know he was Clinton's advisor. I've never been an admirer of Bill Clinton.
Sure.
And
I'm trying to get at the fact that there are robber barons funding socialist and communist movements, from Arm & Hammer to people like George Soros, who just got caught spending $33 million trying to hype up the Ferguson protest. Are you aware of that?
I am not. I am not. And George Soros, again, I know nothing about George Soros, but the idea that somehow big capitalists are funding movements that would want to overthrow them seems preposterous to me. But again, you're crashing through the lies, so maybe you know something I don't know, but I don't know it. So asking me about it as if I'm an expert on it, I have no idea what you're referring to.
Well, here's the deal. The system promotes communism or socialism as the only way to rebel against corrupt forms of capitalism, and I just think that's a total fraud, and I'm sick of it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's true, and I think that most systems, and certainly the American government, hates dissent, despises dissent, and does everything it can do to ruin it, to wreck it, to reframe it. And so, no, I don't accept the terms that are given to me by the ruling class or by the percent. I don't accept it.
Sure. Well, I found that communism is historically least tolerant of free speech than capitalism, though I agree capitalism is degenerating into a fascist corporatist model right now.
I think that's probably true. There are all kinds of indications of fascism, including the intolerance of dissent, and including the suppression of free speech, and including the linkage of corporations with government, which has gone so far that we have very little left of a participatory system, very little. It's mostly controlled by big money, and big money is, yesterday there was a great celebration for voting rights and the movie Selma and so on. But the reality is that voting rights have been dismantled in this country by the wealthy.
But if you notice, the 0.1% that control most of the wealth in the world get their money from government deals, insider deals, government bailouts, and they're the ones pushing higher taxes on the middle class, Warren Buffett and other dirtbags. Don't you know they're funding leftist foundations across the board and want a limited leftist movement to domesticate the public?
I don't consider these foundations leftist foundations, but I do think that the Ford Foundation, the Gates Foundation, the Broad Foundation, all of these people are right-wing, absolutely. So I agree with you on that. And I think that this is a government that supports the big finance capitalist class. There's no question in my mind that the government is run by Wall Street. That's who runs it.
But I'm saying they're creating a monopoly, so you can't call it capitalist. And I'm not saying the foundations are right-wing or left-wing. They push fake left-wing ideology as a form of domestication.
I don't see any fake left-wing ideology. You take the Ford Foundation. The Ford Foundation, funds mostly horrible, controlling, racist kinds of things. I don't have anything to do.
The Ford Foundation wants the open borders. What do you think of Obama acting unilaterally more and more? Not even executive orders, but just doing whatever he wants.
I don't know what are you referring to? For example,
open borders, the power plants.
I don't think he's done anything about open borders. I think the idea, for example, of opening to Cuba, which he did unilaterally, was a good thing. I think it should have happened 50 years ago. I think the idea that somehow the United States has gained anything by trying to destroy Cuba, all it's done is hurt the Cuban people and isolated them from the possibility of new ideas and new developments. I think it's great that the United States now has an open door to Cuba, and Marco Rubio can have a conniption fit if he wants, but it doesn't mean anything. The fact is, it's not a danger to the United States. I think they should close Guantanamo, as long as I'm talking about Cuba. I think that Guantanamo was a massive